Hi guys, I'm back again with another video tutorial. So in this video, we're going to work on the front end part of this and full stack task manager application. You will also be getting the source code to this part of the application at the end of the video. I'm going to have the source code linked in this video description. And for the PHP part of your application to work, make sure to download and install XAMPP or WAMP if you don't already have any of that. And once it's set, just double click to open up your local disk, search and open either WAMP or XAMPP folder. I'm just going to click on WAMP64 folder because I'm using WAMP. Check for www folder. Once you open the WAMP64 folder, you search and double click to open the www folder because that's where you're going to create your project folder. And if it's XAMPP you're using, just do the same thing and then check for, once you open the XAMPP folder, check for htdocs folder, double click to open it, and then inside the htdocs folder, create a new folder and give it a name, your project name, the name you want to call your project, and then right click to open with code, with any code editor of choice. First file I'm going to be working with is dashboard.html. I'm supposed to use PHP extension for this, but then I want to be able to open it with live server. It's easier for me to use HTML extension and then change back to PHP extension later. So we're going to use Task Manager application as our title. I'm just going to open with right click and open with live server. And now inside the body, let's start working with the header part of our application. So here I'm just going to have a header tag with a class of header. So this header tag with a class of header is going to wrap the header part of our Task Manager project. Inside the header class, we're going to have two other div tags with header left and header right classes. So we have the header left and then the header right class. Inside this header left, we're going to have a h1 tag with a class of app title. So this h1 tag is going to wrap the title of our project. We've given it a class of app title. And the second tag, which is a p tag with a class of greeting, is going to house the greeting part of the application. Let's have Task Manager dashboard. So once a user logged in, the application is going to pick the name and then welcome the user with the name, because the name is supposed to be fetched dynamically. So, but for now, since we've not written PHP code for now, we're going to use Joy. Just leave it as Joy. Once we write the code, everything is going to change. Everything is going to be dynamically fetching from the database. So inside this second div with a class of header right, we're going to have another div with a class of main profile. So this main profile is where our image is going to reside. Let's just use a plain text for now. This place is supposed to be for image, but let's just use profile image for now. Then after the main profile, we're going to have another div with a class of upload controls. So this particular div is going to house our file inputs. We're going to have a form with a method of posts. And then since what we are uploading is image file, we're going to use enctype attributes and then pass a multi-path / form data that controls the file upload. So inside our form, let's have a label with a class of custom file label. And this is a part that is going to say upload. That's upload image. So once we start our CSS design, we're going to start this label to look like a button because it's going to be performing two options. The first option is it's going to look like a button which you click to upload an image. And then we're going to make the input field, the visibility to be none. The only thing you're going to see there is just the label that looks like a button. So we're going to do the styling in our CSS part. After the label, we're going to have an input field with a type of file. Let's give it a name of profile image. We'll give it a name of profile image. We'll give it an ID of profile image. And then we'll give it an unchanged attributes. But we're not going to pass anything inside this unchanged attributes for now. So once this input field is changed, our function is going to be called upon. We're going to write the function in our JavaScript part of the code. So we're going to leave it blank since we've not written the function. And then we use the accept equal to image to tell it to accept an image file. So after the input field, you're going to have another div with a class of preview box. So this div is, since we have a preview option in this project, this div now is going to, with a class of preview box, is where our preview image is going to appear. Then we'll give it an ID of preview box. The visibility of the style is supposed to be set to none. Well, we'll leave it like this for now. And then we use this ID that we'll pass here to write, to also write our JavaScript code. This div with a class of preview box. We're going to use this ID to target this particular div later in our JavaScript. Since our preview image is going to appear here, so we're going to use this to target this field, and then we use the onChange attribute in this input field to call a function that will make the image to appear in the preview box once there is an onChange, once there's a change in the input field. Then inside the preview box, inside the div with a class of preview box, let's have an image tag with ID of image preview box. We are also going to use this ID later in our JavaScript part. Then give it alternate of preview image. So once our image is not appearing, then we'll just see this text preview image. Then finally, we're going to have a button with a type of submit, and then class of upload btn. So this is where we're going to click to upload the image after being previewed. Then we have upload here. Let's see what we have. This is what it's looking like without CSS for now. Go ahead. Then that's all for the header parts of the application. The next, we're moving to the nav section. So we have a nav tag with a class of navbar. Then the first one, we use button, and then we give it an onClick attribute of location.href. That is, we're telling this button, we're telling it to take us to this particular place. Once we click on this button, once we click on the button, it's going to take us to dashboard page. So that's why we're using the onClick attribute, and then passing location.href to it. But since we're using .html for now, we're still going to use dashboard.html here. And once we change it to PHP, we're also going to still change it to PHP extension from here. And then in between the buttons, we're going to have dashboard. Then we also have another button with onClick attributes. And then we're telling it to take us to create tags.html once it is clicked. So what will happen, since everything is pretty much the same, we're going to just copy and paste. I think we need about 4 of these, I think. So we're just going to copy and paste into 4 different places, and then change the file name, okay, into 2 more different places, and then change the file name to the name of that particular file to save our time. So this becomes history.html, and then the last one is the logout.html, which we're going to change to logout.php later during the code. And there is nothing much happening in this logout page. The logout file is just there for us to terminate our section. So once we click on the logout form, the logout page, that is the button, is going to terminate your section. Then we have view history. On clicking on the view history, it's going to take you to history page. So what we'll do now is to create the file. We only have dashboard here because we're starting with dashboard file. So what we'll do is to create the remaining file that we're working with. So the first one here, you just click on the file and then give it a name of create-tags.html, since it's still HTML extension that we're using. So the second one is going to be history.html, and then the fourth one, which is going to be the logout.html. Then we also have more. We need a login file. So we give it a name of login.html for now. Then we have sign up form. So we are using index. We're going to use index as the name of our sign up file. So I'm choosing to use I choose index because I want the page to appear first once we deploy our application. So let's quickly close up all this tab. I think we need more file, but for now we are working with this. So going back to the dashboard, this is what we have without CSS. So once you click on the view history, it's going to take you to the view history. Just check the tab, you see we're in view history page. So once you click on any button here, it's going to take you to that particular page. So after the nav bar, the next section we're going to have is the main section. So we're going to have a main tag with a class of dashboard. And inside the main tag, we're going to have a section tag with a class of statistics section. Inside the section with a class of statistics section, we're going to have another div with a class of chart container, so this is where our canvas is going to appear. That is our charts, our statistics, the charts. So this is where it's going to appear inside this div with a class of chart container. So let's just have it as canvas. We're just going to use a plain text for now. After the statistics section, we're going to have another section with a class of tax tables. Then inside the tax table class, let's have a div with a class of tax table. So this particular one here is going to house the three table. Is the direct parent. This is going to be the direct parent of the read tags for the first table, processing tags for the second table, and indent tags for the last table. So and then inside the tags tables, so read tags, we have h2 tags with read tags, which is for the first table, which is our read tags table. And then we have a table with a class of view tags table. So this particular table is just to view the newly created tags. The read tags table is the first one. So once you create any tags, it's going to appear here. So this place is just for you to view the created tags. That's the function of this table. So let's just copy and paste into two more places. Then change. The second one is going to be processing tags. That's the second writer for our h2 tags, which is the second table. Is going to be processing tags. So read tags table is the first one. Processing tags table is the second one, and then done tags table is the third one, which is the last table we have in our dashboard. So this class is here, we're going to change it to ID. So the first ID for the first table, the ID for the first table is view tags table. The ID for the second table is processing tags table. And then the ID for the last table is done tags table. So we're going to use this ID later in our JavaScript parts. All the ID we are passing to this table, we're going to use them later in our JavaScript. So this is what our dashboard is looking like now without CSS. So the next thing we're going to do now is to create a file for our CSS. Let's click on, so we're going to create a CSS folder. Click on new folder, then CSS as a name. Then inside the folder, just click on file, make sure the CSS is highlighted. So click on new file and then give it style.css. Then going back to our dashboard, we're going to link this CSS in the header part of our application, so that since it's external CSS, you're going to link it here so that any changes you're making will be taking effect. Then just link, and then click the one that says link CSS. So let's change the file path. Our file name is still style.css, but since our style.css reside inside a folder, we're going to just quickly wipe this off and then target the CSS folder, then slash style.css, which is the name of our file. Then going back to style.css, to know if this is linked very well, we're going to target the body selector. We're going to target the body and then give it a background color of red. Alright, it's linked very well because the background color we gave is showing. So just wipe it off and then start the main styling. We give it a margin of 0 to remove the defaults, any default margin that comes with the body, and then we give it a font family of Arial sans serif. We give it a background color of dark blue, and then we change the color of the text because it's looking very dark. We give it a color of white. Color white, that's for the text, for all the text in the body part of our application. Then for the header class, targeting the header class, we include dots in front of the header indicating that this header is a class. Then inside the header class, we're going to give the header a height of 120 px, and then we give it a display flex because in order to align the content very well, we have to make it a flex container. Then we give the justify content of space between to add a space between the left and right header class. Then we align items to center. Then we give it a padding of 10 px top and bottom, and then 20 px left and right. Then let's have a different background color for the header. Since that our header is going to be sticky, let's give it a background color. We want the header to remain the way it is once we are scrolling, so that if we scroll, the header will not be moving with the content of the remaining parts of the that's the body, our body parts of the application. So that's why we're using sticky as the position, and then we'll make the top to be 0. Then z index of 10. So we'll give it a transition of background color 0.3 seconds. Then we'll give it a box sizing of border box. Then targeting our header left, we give it a display flex. We give it a flex direction of column. Flex direction of column is going to align it up, top, and bottom instead of like this. So this one comes first, and then the welcome joy comes under it. That's they're in column. The alignment is in column form. And then margin bottom of 20 px to add a space. Under the greetings. So in targeting the header right, we give it a position of relative. We give it a display inline block. Margin bottom of 20 px to add a space underneath. And then we align the text to center. Then the next, we're going to target the main profile image, which is where our profile image resides. Then we give it a width of 50 px, a height of 50 px, and then we're using 50-50 because we want the box to be round, and then we use the border radius of 50% to make it round. We give it object fit of cover. Then we add a border to it with the color of 2px solid, this color. And then we give it a margin bottom of 10 px. to add spacing from the down. Next, we're going to target the preview box, the image inside our preview box. That's the preview box is the direct parent of this image. We'll give it a max width of 100 px. We'll give it a height of auto. Then we'll give it a margin bottom of 10 px to add a space between the image and what comes next. Then we forgot to target the preview box, which is the parent div to the image tag. So let's give it a position of relative. We give it a margin of 20 px, that is round. We give it a border of 2 px dash. So the border will be, then we'll give it a padding of 10 px round. This is a space between the image and this dotted line. And then we'll give it a width of 100 px and then height of auto. No, the margin is a space around. Is a space around the preview box. Sorry, that was a mistake. So we'll give it a background color of this color here. Is that what? It's not white. Background color of hash F9, F9, F9. We'll give it, we make the items to be aligned center. Justify content center. Content is going to align center, both vertical and horizontal alignment. And then we'll make the flex direction to be column. It's going to position the image, the preview image first, and then position the second element, which is this upload button. Next, this upload button is going to be positioned under the preview image. Next is the custom file label, display inline block, background color of hash 252540. And we'll make the text to be white. So we'll give it a color of white. Then we'll give it a padding of 5 px. We'll give it a border radius of 5 px to add this rounded corner to the edges. And then we'll give it a text alignment of center.